Today we're talking about how to create a safe space so your child actually wants to talk to you, whether they're 5 or 15. If you ever wished you could read your child's mind or wondered why they're bottling things up, this episode is for you. My guest is Kelley Bell, an educator, life coach, and family consultant who works with middle schoolers every single day and sees firsthand what kids are struggling with, what they wish their parents knew, and what actually helps. She's a mother of 4, a daughter of God, wife, and describes herself as a kingdom strategist who's on a mission to empower families and strengthen communities one step at a time. By teaching individuals how to integrate kingdom principles with practical strategies, she's equipping them to live life abundantly. Welcome to Keep Kids Safe, the podcast that gives Christian parents hope-filled, practical ways to protect their kids in today's world. I'm your host, Sarah Panus, a Christian mom, child safety advocate, and content strategist. Twice a month, we shine light on the dangers facing kids today, from online exploitation to trafficking and other offline and online safety issues, to equip you with the tools to respond with faith, wisdom, and confidence. You'll hear powerful stories, expert insights, and simple tips that will help you raise kids who are safe, strong, and supported. And I'm right here learning along with you because protecting our children shouldn't feel overwhelming, and you don't have to do this alone. So let's jump into part 1 of my conversation with Kelley Bell, where she explains to us how small talk can have a big impact in helping connect with our kids. As I was thinking about this topic, the Bible verse that felt really relevant to me is from Proverbs chapter 20, verse 5. And it says, "The purposes of a person's heart are deep waters, but one who has insight draws them out." So let's talk about that. Let's talk about how to be that insightful parent who helps draw out what's really going on in our kids' heart. Because wouldn't we all love that? I know there's lots of times where I would just love to be a mind reader and be like, what are you thinking right now? Like, what is going through your brain to help them? I'm joined today by Kelley Bell. So you do a lot of different things. You're a very busy woman. You specifically work with kids that are in crisis every day. What are you seeing that most parents don't realize that their kids are kind of silently struggling with that we should know about?
A lot of kids, they don't know how to problem solve. That takes me to even with the aspect of the resiliency. There is definitely a lack of that. There's definitely a lack of just security and confidence in themselves. They're finding themselves all over the place with so many different things that are coming at them, whether it's social media, whether it's just their peers at school, whether it is them just trying to find themselves. They're seeing that their parents are struggling. So they're just like, they just don't know what to do. And they've just come into this little bubble where they feel like their safest place is to talk to their friends, and their friends are not giving the best advice with some of these life-changing decisions that they are making on their own. They're just a little lost right now. I think that's the best way to put it. They really are lost, but they want help, but just not really sure how to articulate it to get the help that they want.
For everybody listening, first quiz question here is true or false? So you have 50-50 shot at this one. Feeling like they don't have someone to talk to is one of the top contributors to youth anxiety and depression. True or false? It's true. So according to the CDC's Youth Behavior Survey back in 2021, nearly 22% of U.S. high school students seriously considered attempting suicide, which is terrifying. And I'm wondering if between 2021 and now, after going through COVID, if that number is even higher. But they state that lack of supportive relationships is a major risk factor in being able to feeling like you're saying, Kelley, feeling lost and alone and maybe turning to the wrong people for that advice to help them get through that. So it's alarming, right, to hear, and it's good to hear from you because you're talking with these kids. But, there's hope. There's things we can do to help them. So why do you think that so many kids today kind of bottle those things up inside of them instead of actually turning to their parents?
For a lot of kids that I've noticed, especially since after COVID, because things just skyrocketed, especially in my school, especially with my suicidal babies, that's what I call them. They don't want to add any stress to their parents. They have internalized, my parents have enough going on, even though as parents, we think we're doing a good job with hiding stuff, right? Yes. And some parents are just open, like their kids know everything. They're not having sidebar conversations. So their kids either overhear them. They may not be speaking to them directly, but these kids internalize, like my parents got their own problems. They know that their parents love them. They know that they are there, but they're like, no, I don't want to give them anything else to worry about. So I'm just going to keep it to myself. So you have those, a big chunk of babies, I'll call them all babies, even though they're not, a big chunk
Yeah.
of babies who feel that way. And then there's other ones who have attempted to talk to their parents and they feel like their parents don't understand. They don't get them. The parents don't validate their feelings because we're dealing with stressors as parents. So if a kid comes to you about not having somebody to sit with at lunch, you're like, that doesn't matter. But to a middle school kid, oh no, that matters. You know what I mean? Like that is a big deal. So we have to find a way to validate that feeling and then teach them how to problem solve. But they're bottling it up because they don't really know which way to go and they don't want to add any problems to their parents. But I tell them, let your parents be a parent. Like we signed up for this. Let your mom be a mom. Let your dad be a dad. That is what we are to do as parents. And when I say that to them, they kind of look at me like, maybe so. I'm like, yeah. Maybe so, unless your parent has flat out said to you, do not talk to me. Do not assume that that is what they're going to say in that moment.
Yeah. And it's interesting because when I was doing research on this, I think this is a great spot to insert the second quiz question of the show, which is what's the average number of meaningful minutes that parents spend in conversations with their kid each day? Okay, guys, I'm going to give you multiple choice on this one. Do you think it's 30 minutes a day, 18 minutes a day, 7 minutes, or 3 minutes a day that are meaningful minutes that parents spend in conversation with their kids each day? 30, 18, 7, or 3? And the answer is 3. I was shocked, Kelley. I don't know. It says studies show on average, parents only spend about 3 to 6 minutes per day in meaningful conversations with their children. And this is from the American Academy of Pediatrics and a Harvard Graduate School of Education study that was done. I was like, 3 to 6 minutes of meaningful conversation a day. Does that surprise you as you like talking with these kids and parents?
Nope. Doesn't surprise me at all. And even, especially in my neighborhood, I'm in a more affluent neighborhood with the students that I have. So very successful families. It's a big, very big Brazilian population as well. And they're busy. They're at work. Their parents are at work. And that's in every sector. So whether you're in a high socioeconomic status or a low socioeconomic status, if you're working and you're struggling, you just got stuff going on, you just are going. And that is a problem across the board, because we don't just stop sometimes. And I love that, the meaningful conversations, not just how was your day? You got any homework? Do your chores? Y'all guys ready to eat? Like we do those things just regularly, but no, stop, put the phone down and really look. Because I tell my children, how was your day? And they say, good. I'm like, no. I need more than one word. What happened today? How was it? Let's stop for a second and nothing's interrupting that conversation. But we're busy, I know, and we sometimes just have to be a little more intentional. I get life is happening for all of us, but we just have to be more intentional, whether it's setting a timer on your phone to remind you, stop and talk to kid number 1, kid number 2, depending on how many kids you have too, right? Because that could stretch you as well. But we just have to be just more intentional with it. That's something we can easily fix.
So then let's talk about the hope then, right? Like, because what gives you hope? Like, what have you seen that actually works when it comes to building that safe, open line of communication between a parent and their child?
There are kids who will talk. Like I've had multiple incidents, and I probably do a little more than what I should as my job, but I've had times where I have had the student come in with the parent and we're sitting here and we're talking together. So we're just breaking the ice, breaking these interpretations of what we think the other person is saying. And they develop these relationships. And these are teenagers, you know, the middle school age is that age where you're like, I don't know what's going on with my kid. But deep down inside, there really is space. There really is hope, because these kids will speak. So whether you have a toddler baby all the way up, my oldest is about to be 21, you're still trying to navigate those conversations when they're outside of the house. It is possible. Just don't stop. The problem is if we stop trying. The problem is when we go, well, they're not talking to me no way. They only want to talk to their friends, or maybe you have a grown child and they're in a relationship. You just keep doing your part. And I promise you, over time, be open, be vulnerable. I've seen a lot more parents say, I'm sorry to their kids. I'm sorry if I said that the wrong way. I'm giving you the space to tell me what works for you. So it's not a dead end kind of thing. Like you can get your kid back. You definitely can build that relationship with them because they will talk.
Yeah, so don't stop trying. Keep trying to have that. Be intentional. Pause for those moments to actually ask them about their day. And as like think about this, it's okay, how do we every day try to add at least a few more minutes of meaningful
Mhm.
conversations every day with each of our kids? If we're super busy and you have multiple kids to your point, but gosh, I think we owe it to them as their parents to help them guide and navigate, because you're seeing the challenges that they're coming in, to help them not feel as lost and hopeless and going down that wrong track, which can lead to things of where they're going to be more likely to say yes to dangerous scenarios or be
Yep.
more gullible in certain things, which isn't going to help keep them safe long term. So what's one simple way that parents can start these conversations now to help their kid feel more emotionally safe at home, no matter how old that their kid is? What would you recommend for all of us?
I think the first thing is just having the conversation with your child to share your desire. I'm pretty sure at some point, some of us may have said, well, I've told them that I'm here for them, but when is the last time you said that? Like life has just been, it's a lot in their little minds too. So I
Yeah.
think it's just having that first conversation, just face to face, one on one. If you have multiple children, I have four, I'm going to have one at different times with them and just saying, hey, I want you to know that I'm here. I also want to let you know I don't know it all, so I might do this wrong. I think we have to let our kids know that we're human because they just think we're just perfect because we're adults. We don't know what we're doing half the time. Like we're just
Yeah.
trying to figure it out. And sometimes just saying that to them, saying, hey, I am trying to figure this out and I want to be here for you. What does that look like for you? What do you need from me? Would you rather me text you? Would you rather us talk in a journal? Would you rather us go for a walk? And then you have more than one kid because each of with my four children, that's four different personalities. So that's four different ways that I have to speak to them. One needs one thing from me. So also being open to that and realizing just because it worked with one kid does not mean it's going to work the same way with your other one. But just first starting with that conversation, breaking the ice, and there's no pressure from them. It's just saying, I am here. What do you need from me so that you can feel more comfortable and be open to what they say? If they say you yell too much, you roll your eyes, or I don't like your tone, just take a step back and say, okay, I hear you. That's something I could work on. Instead of being defensive and saying, but when I do it, you've lost them right there. As soon as you try to justify their interpretation of what they think when they talk to you, you're going to lose them. So don't do that in that moment. That's not the time to correct that. But break that ice and have that conversation with your baby.
I love that. Those are great, like very specific, actionable ways, guys, that we can talk to our kids. And if you've felt like you've totally botched it in the past, don't stop. Go back and try again. Use the advice and the language that Kelley just shared. And you're right, there are a lot of different ways and methods of how we can communicate. I like how you shared that. Is it text? Is it journal? Is it a walk? I have a teenage son, and I feel like he really opens up to me. Like, we'll walk the dog each night. And so
Mhm.
every once in a while, like it'll just be him and I. Usually it's the whole family and we'll all go out together. But I love when it's just him and I, because then I can like actually talk to him more about the day and what's
Yep.
going on and things like that. But I find he opens up to me more in those one-on-one like moments when we're on that walk. Whereas my daughter, who's 10 right now, she's a little jabberbox. So she's like total different. But my son, I have to kind of pull it out more. So I feel like I
Yeah.
need to get into these moments. And time of day matters too, right? Like paying
Yes.
attention to when your kids actually are more talkative.
Yep.
I noticed my older kid, though, much more talkative at night than in the morning. He's not a morning person, but everyone's different, right? So it's kind of like paying attention to that too, of
It
timing.
really is there, and I tell my students when I talk to so many other kids, like my friends that have their kids coming to me too now to help break the ice, and I tell them you're still a person, right? You still have feelings. Like I know you're a child, but you also have to articulate what you need as well. But they do. They have bad moods, good moods. Something may have happened. One minute they want to talk, they don't want to talk. The same way with us as parents. Every time is not a good time for us. If we're ripping and running in the morning doing our morning routine, that is not the time. I'm sorry, baby. Let's schedule this. Like I schedule because I am so busy. Like I schedule lunch dates even with my children because we use a calendar anyway. So it's already on there when they'll see mom and child number two. We're going to Chick-fil-A. And it's just our one-on-one time. Nobody else can come. And then they can look forward to it. And then it just helps me to make sure I'm present in that moment as well.
Oh, I love that. Tell us how people can connect with you online, because you're an educator in a school system, but you're also a consultant that people can hire and work with too if they're vibing with what you're talking about, right? So tell us all the ways that people can connect with you if they're interested in following up more after listening to this.
Definitely. You could definitely find me on my website at Kelley J. Bell. That's KELLEY.com. I'm Kelley J. Bell on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, most of the social media platforms. And we just have different resources, whether it's family consultations. I've done quite a few of those, one-on-one, just life coaching, or even working with students one-on-one if you feel like your child just needs someone else to talk to, that need another safe adult. I work with people all over.
Woo! What a powerful conversation. I hope you're walking away with some practical ways to start or restart meaningful conversations with your kids, no matter how old they are. And remember, it's not about being perfect. It's about being present. And this is something I know I personally struggle with because I'm always trying to do everything just right. But it isn't about that perfection, guys. It's about just showing up and being present for our kids. So just a few more intentional minutes each day can make a huge difference. And that, to me, as a parent, that feels doable, doesn't it? It definitely feels doable. If you enjoyed this conversation and you want to connect with Kelley, I will include all the links to where she said she's available in the show notes here. And if this episode blessed you, would you please take a moment to share it with a friend? The show is new, so your word of mouth and sharing it with others is going to help it grow and expand. And also, if you could leave a review. And don't forget to join my email list for more updates and tools to help keep kids safe. The link to join that email list is in the podcast description here. So thanks for listening. Thanks for being the kind of parent who's showing up with love, insight, and hope. You've got this. Until next time, God bless.